Another way that we can be asked to solve for slope or find the slope or create a formula is through tables and tile patterns. So the first thing I like to look at is my tile pattern, and I'm looking for a pattern. So I have 2 tiles, so I'm going to write the number 2 here. Here I have 4 tiles, so I'm going to write the number 4. And here I have 6 tiles, so I'm going to write the number 6. I'm going to take those numbers and I'm going to transfer them over to my table. So I have 2, 4, 6. Now what is my pattern? How am I getting from 2 to 4? From 2 to 4, I'm adding 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. From 4 to 6, I'm adding 2 tiles. 4 plus 2 is 6. So how would I get figure 1? This is my figure number, and this is my number of tiles. I'd have to subtract. So I'm subtracting 2, which gives me 0, and I'm subtracting 2, which is negative 2. So then I'd have to go back and I'd have to draw my figure 0. Well, I can't really draw negative 2, so I'm going to write negative 2 so my teacher knows that I can't draw that. And then I would write figure 1. And for figure 1, I have 0 tiles. So I'm just going to write 0 because 0 is empty space. But I want my teacher to know that I understand that. Okay, so I have my figure number. I have my number of tiles. My table is done. My pattern's done. My y equals mx plus b slightly changes when I'm given a problem this way. My y is my output. My output is the same as my number of tiles in my table. My m is now my change in pattern. So how is this pattern changing? It's changing by 2. How is the line changing? It's changing by 2 over 1. That's the pattern. It's how the line is changing. My x becomes my input, which is also known as our figure number. And then my b is now my figure 0, because when I'm graphing, let's make this orange. When I'm graphing, 0 and then a number is going to land me on the y-axis. If I don't walk any, but I climb up or down, I'm on the y-axis. So we're looking at figure 0. So if I'm going to fill out my y equals mx plus b, my y stays the same, my x stays the same. My slope, my m, is how my pattern's changing. Well, my pattern's changing by 2. And then my b is my 0 pair, which isn't plus in this case. It's minus 2. Okay, so now we have our table. We have our figure numbers added that weren't there, and we have our slope formula. The only other thing we would do is graph. So let's do some practice problems. Okay, here we've been given figures 1, 2, and 3. So my first step is to figure out how many tiles are in each figure. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Let's fill out our table. Figure 1 has 6. Figure 2 has 10. Figure 3 has 14. Well, this is very clear to see. To get from 10 to 14 is plus 4. And if I know that 6 plus 4 is 10, well, now my pattern is plus 4. So to get to figure 0, I'm going to have to take away 4. So my figure 0 is going to have 2 tiles. And then I need to add 4 more to get to figure 4, which is going to give me 18 tiles. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It does not matter what my figure looks like. It matters that I have the right number of tiles drawn, or squares. Okay, so there's 18 tiles. Now I need to write my formula. So I have y equals x. So my pattern is changing by +4, so I have 4x. And my 0 pair is +2, so I have +2. So we have our table. We have our figure numbers drawn. We have our formula. Now we need to graph. So again, just like in our last video, we start with our b. We need to rise 2. That's where our first point goes. Our slope is 4/1, so we're going to climb 4. Run 1, that's where our second point goes. We need a ruler. And I'm going to label my line. Y equals 4x plus 2. So now we have our last part. So for every question like this, you're going to be asked to do a table, your figure drawing, a formula, and a graph. 4 things. They're all interchangeable. The figure helps the table helps you figure out your formula allows you to graph. Let's try a second one. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tiles. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tiles. And here I have 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 tiles. So I need to set up my table. I always am going to have 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because I would count in my tiles, I know figure 2 has 7 tiles, figure 3 has 9 tiles, and figure 4 has 11 tiles. How is my pattern changing? 7 plus 2 is 9, 9 plus 2 is 11, so if I'm going backwards and subtracting 2, I would get figure 1 has 5. Going backwards and subtracting 2, I have figure 0 has 3. So for my figure 0, I need 3 tiles. And for my figure 1, I need 5. All right, halfway there. Now we need our formula. So my formula is y equals mx plus b. Y equals, my change is 2, my pattern, and my 0 pair is +3. Last but not least, let's draw our line. We go up 3, that's our first point. This is 2/1 because every whole number is over an invisible 1. So I'm going to rise 2, run 1, connect my points with a ruler going past the points, drawing a straight line. I have y equals 2x plus 3. And if I wanted to check my slope triangle, I could see here that it's 2/1. Nice job.